Okay, now I am. Get my. Just in case there's somebody showing up. All right. I am recording though. So this is my first time just barely starting Star Citizen. I'm going to try to stream you along the whole journey. I'm going to put that window, the launcher, somewhere else so I can have my game window here. Oh! Looks like I have to actually install the game. This may take a while. I installed the launcher, but I did not install the game. Now, I've read through all this, and it's pretty specific. I even asked AI about some of it. Yeah, don't play this if you're epileptic. Might cause a seizure. Don't want that, do we? Uh-oh. Phone. I need audio capture, though. What's this? Okay, hold on. I gotta add an audio capture so you can... Okay, there we go. Got my audio. Now you can hear me. Hopefully. Anyway, I've decided to share my journey into Star Citizen from beginning to end. I've started an account. This is the launcher. As you can see, I am installing currently. I bought the very basic $45 starter ship. Didn't buy any fancy accoutrements or add-ons or any of that. I'll start very basic and see how far I can go. Been hearing about this game for years. I even have the controllers that I bought for Elite Dangerous. I hope they work. Because I spent a lot of money on these babies. And they feel authentic. Anybody who watched The Last Starfighter would know what I mean. Adjusting the keyboard and controls. I like my keyboard at a slant because typically you only use the left side, but I'm not sure on this game. We'll see. The graphics are incredible. Now, I heard about this game when I was playing EVE Online, which is a very cool game. I had a lot of fun with that one. It's also sometimes very tedious and boring to do the grind of having to mine materials and sell them and get enough money to make a ship. My favorite, of course, was the Astero and the others from that line, since they looked the most to me like spaceships and not something designed by a guy with a set of pixie sticks and weird fetishes. Hope I don't offend anybody with weird fetishes, but what I'm seeing here looks like craft that could actually exist. It seems physically feasible. I mean, the slow movements, the centrifugal gravity created by this station, obviously a big station. Those ships, even if they carried one person, would mean that that's a pretty big station. Most likely they carry crews of many. See that one landing to the right there? That's also realistic. Movement in space is slow like that because you don't have air to brake you or ground to brake you. You have to brake by counter thrusting. It's funny. I remember reading that there's no such thing as actual deceleration. There's just counter acceleration. I can see that, especially in a spaceship. I like this. I like this background. Well, it's installing faster than I anticipated, faster than Fallout 4 or DayZ installed. That promises to be quite a bit more. From playing EVE Online and Elite Dangerous, I believe this might be the game I've been looking for. Because I liked a lot about EVE, but I also liked a lot about EVE on Elite Dangerous. I liked being able to fly the craft. Personally, I liked being able to go land on a planet and roam around. But this has even more. From what I've seen on the videos that I've watched, it's got some of the environments are similar to the Star Wars Online, where you get to go into the stations and interact with characters. We'll see. I'm as new to this as anybody who's watching, although there may be a few. Let's check out some of these tabs. Community. Lead the way, become a guide. New citizens. Learn how to play. Welcome home. Com links. Interesting. Kind of like a series of blog newsletter type things. Let's check out this tutorial. Okay, it opened up this window in my browser. 3 ways: play, watch, read. All right, let's click it and see what it's got. This is one of the ones I saw. Tell you what, if the in-game graphics are as good as the Pro mode, this is going to be amazing. Understand as we're watching this that this game is still in development. It's been in development for over 10 years. Look at it, of course. See, look at that. You get to fly ships, you get to walk around, you get to do PvP, you get to explore.
Contact front. Nice work.
Some of it looks a bit overwhelming, but I guess you work your way into it. Play. Download the game, request a guide, play together. Okay. watch official community created tutorials. Seen a few of those. Or read. I do really well at reading. Getting started. As a brand new citizen of the verse, the information here will be essential into getting around and exploring. From the main menu, there are 2 game modes available: Persistent Universe and Arena Commander. The following article introduces the basic movement and interaction controls of Star Citizen. It helps you take your first steps in flight in the Universe module, which is where you will be able to explore and experience everything the verse has to offer. When entering the PU for the first time, you will have the option to choose to start in either the Stanton system or the Pyro system. We highly recommend that brand new players choose to start in Stanton, as Pyro has much more lax laws and less security, which may make it a bit of a trial for new players to learn how to play the game in peace. Yes, it's important at first to play in peace. You will also be asked if you want to participate in a tutorial, also known as the new player experience. Go ahead and do that if it's your first time in the verse. You can always come back to this guide after if you need to. Exploring Stanton system. Hold on. Before I do that, I'm going to check my download. Still going. All right. First time you load into this. That music's pretty loud, isn't it? Let me lower that down just a tad. First time you load into the Stanton system from the Universe menu, you will get to choose to spawn in one of several major city locations throughout the verse: New Babbage, Area 81, Lorville, or Orison. Choose carefully. From then on, you will wake up at the last landing zone you flew to that has HAB facilities. For more information about these landing zones and other current major space stations, see the locations in Star Citizen Knowledge Base Guide. Wake up. You'll wake up in a HAB in the city and planet of your choosing. HAB is short for habitat, which are small apartments for the pilot on the go. Get out of bed by pressing the Y key and begin moving around using W, A, S, and D. Well, that seems normal. Your new best friends are the Personal Inner Thought menu and the F key, which controls all interaction between you and the world around you. Everything from opening a door to getting into your ship to picking up a burger. That's pretty standard. While holding F, anything that can be interacted with will be highlighted green. If you are in range to interact, the Open F prompt will appear. Go towards the door and locate the control panel next to it. A prompt to open will pop up. Click F to leave your HAB. You may prefer to use different key bindings or have gaming peripherals such as a joystick or HOTAS. I don't know what that is, HOTAS, that you would like to use within the verse. Check out how to set those up here. Well, I have one, so let's see what that says. Setting up key bindings for your peripherals. Star Citizen supports multiple types of game peripherals, including joysticks, rudders, mouse, keyboard, and more. We provide profiles of key bindings, and out of the box, you can load per peripheral. You can also modify and create key binding profiles. Community players also provide support or exported XML files for peripherals and types of gameplay. If you want to import a key binding profile from your collection or community member, see Create, Export, and Import Custom Profiles. Okay. Launch the game, click Options. Select key bindings along the top. For example, joystick HOTAS. Advanced Control Customization. Click Control Profiles. Okay. Locate your specific peripheral and version. So I knew that at one time. I'm gonna have to look at this and figure out. Let's see. Mine is a Thrustmaster. I don't know what version. I'll have to lift it up. Anyway, probably the Thrustmaster Warthog. Along with the new flight model implemented in Star Citizen Alpha 3.5, the Gamepad Advanced and Keyboard Advanced profiles have been removed. Any custom control changes made prior to this update may behave incorrectly. Troubleshoot issues with the new flight model controls. If you want to import a key binding profile from your collection or a community member, see Create, Export, and Import Custom Profiles. Changing a key binding. To modify key bindings and settings after loading a profile, scroll through the different controls on the screen to select and modify. The screen provides information on how to unbind and bind each key and option. Select the peripheral you wish to modify via the ticker in the bottom right. Okay. Scroll through the available actions to assign a key binding. Press left mouse button to select an action. If a key binding is set, you will see the key button combo listed. To unbind, right-click with your mouse. Double-click your left mouse button to start capturing keystrokes and button presses. System checks for any other actions that use the same set of keystrokes or button presses. Any conflicts are listed for you to select through, accept, or change. That's really good. Many times in other games, I've accidentally bound my microphone on and off to some function and end up with a lot of stuff on my screen. Anyway, to reset in advanced key bindings, click Control Profiles. To select Reset to Defaults. Okay. Controls between my joystick and mouse is causing problems. If you bind similar key bindings for actions and action modes for a joystick and mouse, you may have a few issues. If you use the joystick for specific key bindings, then go to the mouse. It may not always work or have some odd responses. You can reset to defaults or compare the key bindings to find the settings. Related articles. Okay. Took that out. Getting your gear. Once you have familiarized yourself with moving about, you may want to visit the local shops to stock up on any supplies you may need, such as a multi-tool or perhaps additional weapons and ammo. All of this can be arranged and taken into your personal inventory or moved. Ooh, looks like we're... What part is that? Downloading settings, downloading manifest. Updating game files. I think I'm getting close. Maybe not. Okay. Press F at any storage kiosk. There's one located in your starting hab room to open the inventory management screens to sort out your belongings or change your equipment. You can also do this by pressing, what's that, the straight line away from a kiosk. Which one is that? I don't remember that on my keyboard. Oh, yeah, there it is. For me, it's above my Enter key. But you might not have access to all your stored belongings. Your ship. Visit the spaceport. Time to navigate the city and take a tram to the spaceport. You can find directions from the hab to the vehicle retrieval console and hangar elevators at each spaceport for 4 of the major landing zones in the following guides. Lorville, Area 18, New Babbage, Orison. Generally, to leave the planet, follow the in-game signs and markers to find your way to the spaceport. You'll need to navigate the city and, in most locations, take a tram to reach your destination. When you reach the spaceport, retrieve your ship on a vehicle retrieval console and make your way to the assigned landing bay hangar via any of the nearby elevators. An example of one of the retrieval consoles in Area 18 is shown below. These are referred to as ASOP terminals. Retrieve your ship. Approach the vehicle retrieval console and interact with F to deliver and then retrieve one of your ships. Once your ship has been delivered, head to your hangar to board. You can reach your hangar from the elevators near the ASOP terminals. Select your hangar from the list of destinations, which should have your name as a part of the label indicating your personal hangar. Okay. All that's left to do is climb aboard and familiarize yourself with the cockpit. Each ship has a different method of entry, including ramps, ladders, elevators, and side hatches, but you can always use the F key to interact with parts of the ship to find the entry point. For example, to enter the CNOU Mustang, simply interact with the cockpit, whereas the RSI Aurora has side doors behind the cockpit, or larger ships may have an elevator that can be called to access the ship. Once secured in the pilot seat, use and hold F again to locate the flight ready option on the buttons in front of you. You can also simply achieve this with U, as indicated by the interaction keys on the bottom right. Oh, that's interesting. Your ship has heads-up display and various multifunctional displays to provide you with information necessary to travel around the verse safely and efficiently. This is not essential for basic flight in personal ships, however. Let's see what we're doing as far as progress. Still installing. I knew this was going to be a big one. Okay, well, that gives me time to look at all this stuff. Keep in mind that depending on where you are, your exit path will either be above you or in front of you. Press F4 to enter third person and tap Z to unlock your camera so you can safely check your surroundings and find your exit. My keyboard has a two-function F keys, so I have to make sure they're toggled on. When you're ready, go ahead and request authorization to take off. Press F1 to open your MobiGlas, and then contact the spaceport by navigating to comms on the bottom bar. Comms, okay. And spaceport will always appear in the top of the Friends tab. Okay. Be sure to confirm that the hangar doors have opened and your path is fully clear before taking off. That's a good level of realism. Lift off. Strafe up off the landing pad by holding space bar, right control to strafe down. Strafe laterally using the WAS and D keys as you would were you on foot. Q and E to roll the ship. Pitch and yaw by moving the mouse slightly away from the center crosshair. Once you're far enough away from your landing pod or hangar, press N to raise your landing gear. The scroll wheel adjusts your speed, but be careful, ramping up too fast can cause your engines to overheat. The ship will become less maneuverable above space combat maneuver speeds. This is indicated by the red portion of the speed bar. Left shift will engage afterburner to make your thrusters more responsive. However, this also generates a lot of heat, very similar to the sprint function in other games. Some ships start in a vertical takeoff and landing thruster configuration that provides better efficiency in atmosphere at the cost of decreased forward thrust. Press K to swap to regular forward flight in those vessels. I'm not going to remember a lot of this until I do it over and over. And beyond, because you are currently on a planet, you'll need to leave the atmosphere before you're able to go to quantum travel to another planet or station. Fly directly up until the altitude marker on your display disappears. Once that happens, you're all set to explore the verse. The Stanton and Pyro systems are at your fingertips. Learn how you can easily explore these systems ahead with our guide on the ins and outs of quantum travel. For more information on flight and getting prepared for exploring the verse, visit our guides. Yeah, I definitely want to find out how to land it. We just learned how to take off. How to land your ship. Star Citizen hosts a large variety of locations, from outposts to cities, that offer services for you and your ship. This guide will focus on these key locations. However, you will be able to apply what you learn here to landing your ship anywhere across the surface of planetary bodies across the verse. Locating a landing zone. Once you arrive at a planet and begin your descent from orbit toward one of the major city locations, such as Area 18 or Lorville, be on the lookout for the beacons pulsing with light. They will guide you toward the landing zone location for that city. No-fly zones. Be aware that certain locations in Star Citizen, particularly cities, are protected by no-fly zones, areas of the planet or city that players are unable to fly within. When entering a no-fly zone, you will receive an on-screen notification warning. When entering a no-fly zone, you will receive an on-screen notification warning you that continued traversal in this area will result in your ship being impounded. We recommend that you keep this in mind when exploring cities, or losing and recovering a ship can be a hassle. I'm not reading very well, sorry. Major locations will require authorization to land, which you can do by contacting air traffic control, which is also referred to as landing services. There are a variety of ways to contact ATC when attempting to land. Use your ship's communication MFD to contact ATC. Pull up your friends list via the MobiGlass and select ATC from there. It will appear on the top. Press left alt and N together on your keyboard for the default hotkey shortcut. Oh boy, yeah. Like I said, I'm not going to remember much of this. Typically, you will need to be within 5 to 7 kilometer radius of the landing location before landing services will appear on your comms list. Once granted, ATC will assign you a landing pad, docking port, or hangar, depending on the size and type of ship you are piloting. Note, outposts in other locations may not have landing services. In these cases, you can simply land on any available pad. Just be mindful of any other ships already present. Using your ship's multifunctional display, MFD. Most ships will have access to multiple MFD screens that will display a variety of information, of which you can switch between at your discretion. By holding F on your keyboard and left-clicking either arrow location on the bottom left or right of each screen with your mouse, you can cycle through them until you reach communications. If you are within hailing distance of landing services, the option to contact them will appear on the list. Highly complicated. It's going to take a while to master this. Using the MobiGlass. The MobiGlass is your own personal assistant that allows you to access anything from contracts to ship services to your comms channel. To access the ComLink page, press F11 on your keyboard and the MobiGlass will pop up. So long as you are close enough, landing services will appear on the left-hand side of your friend's menu. The closest spaceport will always be at the top of the list. Select the arrow next to the landing services to hail them. Landing in the designated area. Woohoo, that looks tough. If the landing services of the location are especially busy, you may be placed in a queue. Once you have been granted authorization to land, an in-game marker will appear directing you towards your hangar or landing pad. Remember to lower your landing gear. When approaching your assigned landing area, be sure that you lower your ship's landing gear before attempting to land. This can be done by pressing N on the keyboard by default. Well, that music's getting loud. I hope you can hear me. Well, it looks like my voice is louder. Okay. Your ship's MFDs display a lot of information, including shield status, power distribution, and the speed limiter. Getting to grips with the speed limiter will help when attempting more controlled landings. Pressing and holding left alt on your keyboard, then scrolling up and down with the mouse wheel will allow you to adjust the maximum speed of your thrusters. It is advised to lower the speed slightly above the OMS dead zone when approaching your hangar. This will give the pilot much more control using minor movements, leaving less room for error. Left alt seems to be quite the function key. Once you have been authorized to land and you have been assigned a hangar, try to position your ship directly above or in front of the hangar entrance. Use the spacebar on the keyboard to move your ship upward and right control to move downward. Right control, upward and downward, okay. You can continuously hold the keys to keep moving in that direction. This will greatly help you fully maneuver your ship into position. Once you are positioned correctly, we can begin the landing. A good tip when landing is to make use of the third-person camera. Press F4 on your keyboard to switch to this view. You can tap Z on your keyboard to enter free look mode, which will enable you to move the camera using the mouse without moving your ship along with it. Tap Z again to exit this mode and return to controlling your ship. Alternately, you can hold the Z key continuously while looking around, letting go of it once you are done. Once you are confident that there are no obstacles in your way, press right control on your keyboard to descend into your hangar. Try to aim for the center of the pad if possible to ensure you don't clip your wings on the sides. If you need to stop quickly for some reason, hit the X key to engage the space brake. Do note that certain hangars will have horizontal approach instead of vertical approach, as was shown here. The procedure to land in these hangars involves much of the same skills. Upon a successful landing, you will receive a confirmation from ATC. You are now free to power down your ship and exit. Oh boy, ship docking. Some locations, such as orbital stations, ATC may assign you a docking port if you are in a larger ship with docking capabilities. In these cases, you will receive an in-world marker, but also be presented with the following UI. As you approach the docking port, you will notice the red dots move around both the outer circle and the two lines. The aim is to line your ship up with the docking port until they all turn green, the two lines meeting in the middle and the circle in the southeast position. Southeast. You will then want to move closer to the port until the square grows in size to match the dimensions of the circle. As you line up correctly, the segments will start to turn green. I see. At this point, pressing N on your keyboard will initiate the final parts of the docking process until the docking clamps are enabled and you are fully docked. Coupled versus decoupled flight mode. These two flight modes offer some different control methods that will impart a very different feel for your experience while flying a ship. By default, players will fly their ships in coupled mode, but can switch to decoupled mode by hitting the C button on the keyboard. At a very basic level, coupled mode allows the ship to slowly come to a stop after all control inputs cease, while decoupled mode allows the momentum and inertia of a ship to continue under the same circumstances. If you find your ship controls feeling quite different, it's possible this mode was toggled on by accident. There are benefits to both, but many players like decoupled mode because it gives a more realistic flying experience. Just be prepared for the drifting if you switch to decoupled flight mode. Instructions above were given with the default coupled flight mode in mind. Okay. All right. So far, so good. Now, 7 megabytes per second. 62.7 gigabytes left. That's going to be a while. I think I'm going to pause the stream and pause the recording and come back. Actually, I'm going to stop the stream, but pause the recording. I will come back when it's more fully downloaded.